Hello, everyone. Welcome to the One Conscious Love Network. I'm here with Brady. Brady and I met online on Facebook. We have so many beautiful friends in common, and I can see why, because we really are a reflection of who we hang out with. And I can see that you're a wonderful person. Brady, tell us, what do you do and how do you shed your light in the world?
Well, I'm an Indigenous transformation coach, mentor, and energy healer, and I help people with rewriting the subconscious programs inside of their brain, overcoming fears, limiting beliefs, insecurities, and literally updating the programming inside of their heads to change and suit better where they want to be and where they want to go instead of where they are. So a lot of people they get stuck in their patterns and everything else from 0 to 7 years old, where everything kind of starts to form, and they get stuck in those patterns. They have those programs for life, not ever realizing that they can customize the programs inside of their subconscious mind and update them to better suit where they want to be and where they want to go. And I help people to overcome addictions and all the limiting beliefs and all the self-defeating behaviors that go on inside of their brains, and to shift and change their energy and their subconscious beliefs and subconscious programmings to be the best versions of themselves.
That's so beautiful. How did you come about doing that?
I started looking into my own healing, actually. I was
Mhm.
very selfish in the beginning. It was fully about me. It was not about anybody else. I was not thinking about anybody else. I wasn't even caring about anybody else. And as I started to get deeper and deeper into it, I started to share some of the stuff I started to learn, and people became intrigued, and I started to do a little bit of work with people. And I started looking at like hypnosis and different neuroplasticities and different things. And then another thing popped up where I got a chance to take a course to become an NLP practitioner, and I took it. So I started doing it, and over the 2 year time, I actually did probably about 50 or more, 50 to 60 free sessions with people, like 50
Mhm.
different people, and rewriting the neural pathways. And I learned how it worked, and I was doing a whole bunch of different things with people and actually learning how it worked. And it was just absolutely fascinating. And after the
Mhm.
2 years, I started getting into it and actually charging people for it because more and more
Mhm.
people were coming to me and wanting to rewrite their subconscious programs because we all have things that we need to update and better ourselves and get rid of the fear and get rid of the anxiety and get rid of everything. Like one lady I worked with, she had this fear of standing up and being seen and heard. Didn't know where it came from,
Mhm.
know what it was about or where it was, but she was a businesswoman. Like you can imagine being terrified of standing up in front of people and being a
Right.
businesswoman, contradictory to each other. So in the first session, we went in and we went back to where this program started. And it turns out when she was just a little girl, she was standing up on the monkey bars going, look at me, I'm the king of the castle. And a bully came along, pushed her off. She fell down, got hurt, went to the hospital. So her subconscious mind
Mhm.
creates this program of don't stand up and be seen and heard because the bully's going to push you over. You're going to end up in the hospital via the fear response. So we rerouted it and changed how it affected her throughout all time, space, reality, and dimensions. And within a week, she walked up to me and basically said, "What the fuck did you do to me? This is fucking awesome." And was gone.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's so powerful, right? The programming that we're not aware of. Like she obviously had forgotten about this incident, had didn't know where the pain was coming from. And so how do you help someone remind themselves of those previous incidents?
Guided meditations. Neuro linguistic programming is basically using words and understanding the power of words and understanding how it codes our brains. Like they say, spelling, the spells, or no, pardon me, words cast spells. That's why they call it spelling, right? So the words we say to ourselves, the things we speak to ourselves, those are all casting spells all the time. And so I go in and I guide them through into the parts of their brains and looking into the deep parts of their brains that recalls all of these different information, these different scenarios, these different things, and then updating the programming to better suit where they want to be and what they are now. Because like every single one of us has programs. We're all just running off a default programming not realizing that we can customize the programming to be whatever we want it to be.
That's beautiful. Very powerful work for sure. And how we were talking a little bit before we came on screen, and you're talking about a little bit about the work from um, ancestral uh, past programming as well. So, do you want to share a little bit about that? It's not only this particular experience, but also what's passed down.
Yeah, epigenetics. For those of you who don't know what it is, there was experiments done with mice where what they did with the mice was they would ring a bell and then they would shock the mouse. After a couple of times, every time the mouse heard a bell ring, they would freeze up and just like instant reaction. So they shocked these mice for 2 generations and then they stopped. And they found that it took like 7 generations to get rid of that response. Every time they heard a bell, they would ring a bell, but they wouldn't shock them, but they would still get that same freeze reaction. And as humans, we have the same thing. Like everything that happened to our grandpa, grandma, great grandma, and back 7 generations affects us today. So, like I was saying earlier, my family has a residential school trauma. And that's something that I had to work through myself, which is why it was very selfish in the beginning. I was working through a lot of that stuff. And it still comes up all the time whenever I deal with the ministry, the cops, the everything else trying to tell me what to do on my own land, because my family holds hereditary chieftainship titles of the land that I'm on. And we never made any treaty. So they don't quite understand yet that our laws supersede their own, and trying to teach them is very triggering because they come at you with guns. Literally, I had a cop pull a gun and point it at my head, thinking that he was right, and I had to take his gun away and throw it away. And now it's kind of we're going through that scenario of me charging the cop for assault on my land and trying to teach him the way of what it is so that the next generations don't have to do that. It's like very triggering to have to go through those things. And I'm constantly working on bettering myself and not having those triggers set off in the same way as what they are or were before.
Mm.
And we all have those things, whatever it might be. We all have those little triggers that something that happened to our grandpa, grandma, great grandma, or whatever. We all have those little things that are going to be set off by something.
That's beautiful work that you're doing, and I know it's much needed for sure in our indigenous nation for sure, but also in all nations, we all have those past triggers, exactly like you're saying with the mice, right? And it's so we're so unaware of it. That's the part that's really challenging. And so people that are feeling like, how did people feel that you met with when they started? Uh, but they knew something was wrong, but they just don't know like where it's coming from. Is it frustration? Is it anger? Is it self-abuse in any way?
Well, self sabotage, self
Hmm.
defeat behaviors, all those things. They come about, and we don't even know where they're from, what they're from, how they come about, where they pop up, or anything. Like our body is so complex. It tries to do its best to protect us from things the way that it knows how, but sometimes we have to teach our body how to protect us from these things. And it's all about going back in and actually teaching the body again, teaching our mind again how to properly safeguard ourselves from these certain things and rerouting like how everything affects. Like one of my colleagues had a woman who had a deathly allergic to garlic. She had to carry around an EpiPen and inject herself. Didn't know where it came from, whatever. And he did NLP as well and was like using the same kind of modalities that I do, a couple of them. And he walked her through the whole process. She started to swell up.
Mm-hmm.
The allergic reaction started to come as she was starting to visualize and go through the thing. It went away because she stuck through the process to the end. And she literally handed him her EpiPen and said, "Here, I don't need this anymore. You just cured me."
Mm-hmm.
Turned out that what it was that set off this garlic allergy was her body was trying to protect her. Right when it
Mm-hmm.
turned out she was a little girl, She was raped by a man who smelled like garlic, who had garlic on his
Mhm.
body, associated the garlic with that traumatic experience. And by releasing that and teaching the body that that wasn't what it was, she was able to eliminate that extreme allergic reaction to garlic. Like we have many different reactions inside of our body that are like that, and we never really realize it until that happens. And sometimes we'll even point the finger at somebody else and say it's your fault, even
Right.
though all they're doing is an activity that's perfectly fine or normal or safe, but there's that one little trigger. There's
Mm.
that little thing that they say, that one little thing that they do, that whatever, a wink of the eye or something as simple as that, that can
Right.
just set off this reaction within people that is based on trauma of some
Mhm.
sort. And the body's trying to protect them from everything, but they don't know that it is a result of the trauma. So they don't know how to work through it. And modern medicine doesn't teach you about this.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
take a pill to get rid of the tip of the iceberg, the symptoms. Don't
Right.
deal with the problem, but just here, deal with the tip of the iceberg, all the symptoms, and then we'll keep you on that pill for life. And if that doesn't work, well, there's a side effect for this one, so we'll give you another pill for that one, and a side effect for that one, we'll give you another one for that one. Next thing you know, you're on 10 different pills and not able to feel anything.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And how do you work with people? So how do people are watching, they're interested? How do they work with you? What's the best way to work?
I have done mostly video calls actually with
Mhm.
people, or voice calls. I've done a lot of voice calls with people and set up a lot of different things. A couple of times I've flown out and worked with the person really like intensely one on one for like a few weeks at a time.
Right.
Like, and gone and had that happen, which that obviously like I asked that my flight and accommodation is covered when I go down there, and then we do the work.
Mm, that's beautiful. I love that. So people will reach out to you here. We're going to tag you in this interview. We're going to put your links in the comments so that people can find you and work with you. It's beautiful work that you're doing, Brady. Question I always ask everyone is what is one conscious love? What comes to mind when I ask the question?
When you said that, it brought me back to my native roots of the Great Spirit in everything and
Mm,
everyone, and respecting every source of life, and respecting the trees, the plants, the deer, the birds, and everything as if it was a sentient being. Because we all are. We're all parts of like some kind of big universe coming together collectively, and we all work so in sync with each other, with the world, with the universe, with the Schumann resonance, and all of the things that are in the life that we experience. But the colonial mind, I believe, has tried to separate us to make us easier to control. Because if we knew that we were one, if we knew that we were all the same all together, we're just one race, you know.
mm.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All good. It's all good. Yeah, I love that. And it definitely brings us together and a lot stronger together as well. So I love that message. That's beautiful, Brady.
Yeah,
Well, so awesome to have you here today. And I look forward to having you on the One Conscious Love Network again at all the different events and different activities that we host. It was such a wonderful time to connect with you. Thank you so much for being here.
one of the things I want to actually go through, like with NLP, people ask what it is, what do you do, what is it that?
Mhm.
Like lemon meringue pie. You can't actually quite describe the consistency, the flavor, the taste, unless you take a bite. All right, so NLP, I'm just going to guide you through a quick little exercise just to show you kind of what it is.
Sounds great.
And let's close your eyes for a minute. And imagine someone that you really don't like, that rubs you the wrong way, that gives you a bad feeling, and all of the modalities around that, how they make you feel, all the things. Open your eyes. This is called breaking state. Close your eyes again. Imagine a graph appearing in front of you. and place that person somewhere on that graph, probably down in the bottom left-hand corner or the bottom right-hand corner, whichever feels right to you. And because they're very low on your perspective and everything else, put them down in the bottom corner. Open your eyes and close your eyes. Now imagine someone who you absolutely love and adore. Someone who lights up your world, that makes you smile, that makes you feel good, that you're always wanting to be around, that you just enjoy their presence. Open your eyes, close your eyes again. Now imagining yourself reaching out and putting them up on that graph on the opposite corner of the other person, top right or top left, opposite side of the other person there. And open your eyes, and close your eyes. Now just imagining yourself with the graph with those two people as far apart as they can be, reaching down, grabbing a hold of the person down the bottom corner and starting to slowly move them towards the other person. And as you're moving them towards the other person, you start to feel the energy spark, communicate, talk to each other, and barter, and work things out. And as you're moving closer and closer and closer, you can feel the energy starting to merge. You can feel them starting to connect. You can feel them starting to get familiar with one another as you move up closer and closer and closer, up until the point when that person is sitting in the same energy at the top corner as that other person. And the energies have communicated, bartered, and worked each other out. Just take a deep breath in your eyes. Right now, that's essentially what it is. You don't feel the same way about that person anymore. You just let go of a lot of things, a lot
That's
of
right.
bad energy, a lot of bad feelings. We just change the whole energy around that person. That
That's
exercise is actually for forgiveness and for like moving on from the negative feelings, because being bitter towards somebody, it doesn't do you any good and it doesn't do them any harm. It
mm-hmm.
actually harms you more than it does anything else. Like they say, bitterness is like drinking a cup of poison and hoping someone else dies from it. And
That's
letting
right.
go of that energy, like you don't feel the same way about that person anymore. You can't, because we just shifted and changed a little bit of the energy that is around that person. And that can be done through like so many different things. Like one of the things I do is how to mend a broken heart,
Mm,
cutting all the cords of the people who we've been in a relationship with and letting go of that energy, because we become very energetically connected when we
mm-hmm.
are with someone, when we spend that time with someone, when we share that space with someone, we share that energy. We become energetically connected, and everything that they've done, that they've been through, the traumas that they've gone through can affect you as well. You're like literally kind of binding in a soul contract. And I've had people come to me and I've released all of that. One lady actually came to me and she said that she had gone to psychics and mediums and healers and of all sorts, and she had spent like thousands of dollars trying
Mm,
to, you know, release herself from her abusive ex energetically. And within one session, it was gone.
wow.
And she thanked me. She still thanks me today for doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I've had people who, after one session with me, they fired their psychotherapist of 2 years. Because
Mm-hmm.
2 years of weekly sessions with a psychotherapist, one session with me was more effective than that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's fascinating how we are so connected inside of our energy and our body and our soul and our experience as human beings. One lady that I've been working with, she has thanked me so many times and said, I am not the same person at all
Mm,
since I'm with you. I now look at things completely different. I don't flip out over anything. I don't do drugs anymore. I don't drink and everything else. And like just completely shifting and changing the thoughts inside of your head. Like,
mm,
one of the mantras I tell people is that when you're going through that, like be aware of the thoughts inside of your head because they will affect your reality. They will affect where you're going. They will affect your energy and all of the things that come in. And when you're having an invasive thought, there's a very powerful mantra that I use all the time. And it works so effectively. That mantra is shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up,
I
shut up,
love
shut up,
it.
shut up. And then you replace it with something else.
Hmm.
Become aware of the thoughts, of the feelings, of everything else that's in there. Because if you don't become aware of your emotions and you don't take control of your emotions, they're going to control you. And it's especially true with females because they have way more emotions and more outspoken about it than men are.
Hmm.
I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I'm teaching her that.
That's beautiful.
So,
Yes.
because I've said it to her so many times, sometimes now when I get upset, she'll look at me and she'll say, "Just breathe, Dad. Just breathe." And I'm like, "Oh, somebody's been listening to me."
Love it. Oh, that's beautiful. Yes. And such a good life skill at such a young age. That's amazing. She's going to benefit a lot from that.
Yeah, exactly. Like most of our programming comes from 0 to 7 years old.
Mhm.
That's where we're most influenced throughout our subconscious programming, and we're bombarded with all these different things from the people who are most influential to us. Our mom, our
Mhm.
dad, aunts, uncles, grandparents, teachers, whatever. The people who are most influential to us are the ones who make programs for the rest of our lives.
Right.
Most people don't even know that. Most people are like, "Oh, I'm just the way I am because of whatever," you know,
Right.
not understanding that. But it's pretty complex because as humans, the scientific numbers are we're bombarded by 400 billion particles of information every single second, but we can only comprehend 2,000 of that, which means there's 200 million completely different realities in every single second that we live based upon what we're seeing, like the blinders of a horse. So
Hmm.
seeing how we're focusing on what we've got in our programming, that kind of controls our reality, or what I call perception, because perception is reality. And when we change our perspective, we can change everything.
That's so beautiful, Brady. Well, thank you so much for being here and thank you for your time and sharing your beautiful wisdom. It's really appreciated. And I look forward to having you again and to many more years of working together. It was lovely to meet you.
Yes, you too.
Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you soon.